Hi everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady, and today I am coming to you with part 2 of my parents' garden tour here in their lovely Zone 8 Aiken, South Carolina garden.
Good morning everybody. Friday in Aiken, gorgeous.
And your poppy patch is amazing. And oh, look at all the bees.
Oh, I know. I took a video this week trying to show all the bees.
That is so exciting. So I do think it's the best entryway. Oh my gosh, look at this. I'm telling you, these poppies are especially honeybee magnets. If you are into beekeeping, you really should be growing Papaver somniferum. They absolutely cannot, they're irresistible. I mean, look at all those bees. They're the happiest bees. And I'm glad to see you have some color diversity, but it's weird that most of yours are this pale lavender.
Yeah, yep.
Because I gave you my open pollinated seed. It should be all the colors, and it is not a pH thing.
Oh,
you guys, no.
Okay.
There are very few plants that actually have that aluminum issue, like hydrangeas, but poppies are not, they're not colored based off of pH.
Okay.
So
What about
it's just,
sand?
no, it's
Nope.
not, it has nothing to do, it's the genetics of the
Okay.
plant. It has nothing to do with your soil. So I don't understand why most of yours are pale lavender, but they are.
Whoops.
You've got the pale lavender genetics. And they're still pretty.
Oh, I think they are pretty.
But
Yeah.
you know, I like the red and
Yeah,
I
I
like
do
the
too. I
dark
like the
purple. And
Yes, I do too.
I've been showing everybody my favorites are the raspberry color, which you have one in the meadow area.
Oh, okay.
And so we sowed this bed, like I always recommend, on Black Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And happily, your poppies did not take a hit from the holiday freeze.
Right, right.
Where other people, like for me, the poppies that I sowed at Thanksgiving died from the cold. However, you have real, like, expensive plants that died from the holiday freeze.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
all the palms and, well, those bamboos
Yeah.
and, well, it's a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm really shocked by the damage that I'm seeing as a result of that temperature fluctuation. So it's something to be aware of, everybody. Nobody has answers because none of this weather makes sense to anyone. And I would say that count on it not being that unusual that we go from hot to cold and hot to cold. And the goal will always be to find plants that are going to be climate resilient and can tolerate temperature swings. And every year will be different. So don't get too confident.
Yeah, that's true. This is our first time in the winter when it went, I think, 5 above. And that was cold at Christmas down here.
And they were at our house,
Yeah.
where we only got to 11. So we were much warmer than you. And you're zone 8, you're growing plants that are less cold tolerant because you don't usually get to single
Right.
digits.
Exactly. So,
It's a conundrum to manage through, and it's probably the reality of gardening moving forward. So perhaps don't act shocked. You can be disappointed, just don't be shocked. And really, this is like a pollinator haven because when the poppies finish, all the mountain mint will start. Now you can see, pycnanthemum is a very capable plant and it will spread. So you do have to put it in a place where you're prepared for its actual habit. Otherwise, you're gonna hate managing it. But it's a great plant for pollinators, and it's a great plant for ground plane coverage so that you don't have to weed and you don't have to mulch.
right, I'm just letting that march forward.
Yep. And behind Mom, you can see the first
Come close.
Magnolia blooms. These are all little gem, and they are ahead of us in North Carolina. I love the flowers so much, But Mom, tell everybody what you were saying about magnolias.
The leaves fall constantly, and they're almost like leather. I don't think they decompose, so I pick them up and get rid of them because they're everywhere and they fall all year, spring, summer, fall, winter.
And same thing with pine cones.
Yes, exactly, the pine cones.
But what's interesting about the magnolia, so you just said they don't decompose. That's why Weston Farms magnolia wreaths and garlands are so practical, because they hold up and you can keep them for years.
Yes, I agree. I have my beautiful one from Christmas in the attic, so to be used this Christmas.
So the thing that makes them great decorations is precisely what makes them sort of a nightmare to have in your landscape.
And we have them.
You have a lot of them.
Yes, we do.
I don't have any. And so I enjoy them in other people's yards, but especially when they start to bloom.
Oh, it smells like lemon. They're beautiful.
It's like lemon pledge. It's the smell of my childhood.
Yeah, I did that far.
She's laughing at this, but surely you remember that every Saturday my job was to dust every surface in the house.
Yes.
And we laugh about this, but they gave us their old furniture for the Airbnb, which is the furniture I grew up dusting every weekend. And now I dust it every week in the other house, and I'm like, I'll never escape this chore. But to me, the smell of clean, and when I smell it in a flower, it's lemon pledge is what brings me the greatest joy. So,
now look at how pretty this purple one came up with. It's Sweet Williams, right?
Nope,
No,
that is larkspur.
Larkspur.
Yeah, the larkspur is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And that lilac poppy with it is gorgeous. But what I just can't figure out is why there's this open space. You know, basically, my entire mission in horticulture is to eliminate open space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how you have a patch of seedlings there and a fabulous patch of seedlings here, and then it's blank in the middle. And I know that we covered it with seeds.
I know. I don't either, Brian. It's a mystery to me.
So similar to the Raleigh area, peanuts are actually perennial here. And it's really interesting. You know, you can actually see how it germinated in an old fruit that overwintered. Now, what I am seeing here, and it's probably not from you, but it's probably from the lawn maintenance next door, there is some herbicide damage. And legumes are a plant that kind of show it faster than other plants. So you can see that puckering on the new foliage is a sign that there's some active herbicide. Now, they'll grow out of it, but that is something to be aware of. And I don't know if they maybe would have put out like a pre-emergent herbicide that should not have drifted into this bed. None of that makes sense, but it's just all things to be aware of. The more inputs you put, particularly in lawn, will have an impact on the plants that you are growing in your landscape. So we were just talking about identifying weeds versus good plants. It's super hard. So Mom seeded in chamomile, which is this. It's fine leaf, tiny little white flowers. But then growing with it is this weedy plant here. His name escapes me. I think this is a eupatorium of sorts. So you can see in this bed right here, just in a little bit of square footage, you've got the good plant, the chamomile, and then the chamomile look-alike growing right next to it. It makes it very, very challenging to figure out what is good and what is bad. I don't know how else to differentiate it. It is not easy. I guess this is why there's a profession.
Yes.
Honestly, most landscapers would definitely not know the difference. This is definitely like a fine gardening element. But
no, I can't call in a person to weed because they'll pull my flowers out thinking they're weeds.
Yes, they will.
Because they're not a typical woodside flower.
Right. Well, everybody, I hope that you have enjoyed this morning's tour. Thanks for sharing your garden.
My pleasure.
As always, we all learn a lot from whenever I come down and visit.
Yes, and my mistakes.
Well, we all make mistakes, and we are not in the driver's seat when it comes to the weather.
Right.
So it's heartbreaking and disenchanting, but it's not your fault. So...
And I do smell that garlic, and that smells like a steak.
It smells delicious.
Yeah.
You know, garlic scapes are one of the greatest treasures of this season. And you really do need to remove the scapes if you're growing hard-nut garlic so that the energy will go into bulb production. So it's a very important maintenance strategy, but I'm definitely going to chop it up and include it in our meals for today.
Sounds like a plan.
Well, everybody, as always, thanks so much for watching, and we're wishing you all the very best in your gardens.
Keep your paws dirty.